It's like when you plant the seed and you give it water every day and it starts growing, and then like you don't see it growing.
Yeah.
And then you just abandon it and you just go.
Yeah.
But if you keep watering it and someday like you see the roots finally coming out. So it's the same thing with music. I'm not doing anything right now. Let me just go to bed depressed. Sometimes you're playing for free.
In case you're showcasing for 50 people or 500 people, any one could be really important.
If you give up, then you didn't love it that much. For a musician, it's so difficult now. You make music, you have to keep marketing,
And you get lost.
It kills the musician inside you. So right now, we put a full stop to that. We remembered who we are.
Not get stuck in the rat race.
People who used to be like, I don't like your sound, I don't like your music, or now like, hey, can you send us tickets to your event? Everything changes when you become something. Either do something like 100% or don't do anything at all. So,
but what matters is be true to your art. It's a small drop in the samundar, I feel.
Yeah, serious ho gaya.
Hi guys, welcome to a very exciting episode of season 1 at Unlayering the podcast. Today we bring to you two very talented and extremely successful pair of musicians. You might know him as Kenzani, but do you really know who Kedar Santwani is? You might know his partner as Tech Panda, but do you really know who Rupinder Nanda is?
We spoke about their musical inspirations, life beyond DJing, their take on modern day love, them as people. We are so excited for you all to watch this episode.
Welcome Tech and Kenzani to Unlayering. We're really happy to have you on this couch and we're excited to unlayer your lives and your stories.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Super
Yeah.
excited.
Tell us about these names, Tech Panda and Kenzani. How did these come about? What's the story?
I've never been asked this question actually.
Exactly. What a beautiful question.
I'm kidding. I've been asked this question like millions of times. Okay, so for me, Kenzani is like the KE come from Kedar. My first name is Kedar. And A and I come from Santwani. It's my last name. So, and I just like the sound of Kenzani. So I just went with it. Like there's no like deep story behind it.
Yeah,
it's just I like the sound.
It's a unique name.
And it was unique. Like no one had it. So
And what about Tech?
Me, I was given my name Panda earlier school days and started making music, electronic music, then got the name Tech in it. And I'm so glad it's still relevant right now, living up to it.
And how did you all meet?
it suits him though. The name.
Yeah, I love the name. It's very catchy. You can't forget it.
So
Plus,
people remember Tech Panda more than I remember Kenzani because it's just such a catchy name and he looks like a panda.
Acts like a
Sure.
Acts like a panda. Acts like a panda.
But okay, so how did you all meet?
We met through a common friend at a party, and the first time I met him, we didn't really click. Like he didn't really like me. I told him I want to make music, and he was just taking me as a joke. Like this guy knows nothing about music. What's he gonna do? But he gave me a chance. We sat down one day, and at the end of the session, we ended up making a track. And he was like, "This is a good track. Like this can go places." And at that time, that kind of music wasn't like going anywhere. But it was one of the best tracks he made. It was called Nani. Nani's a track. It has sitar riffs and it has like house music kind of vibes. So like it was too early, I think, at that time for that kind of music also, because no one was really making it. We made it because we couldn't hear it. Like I wanted to hear that kind of sound because I was attached to the Eastern and like combine it with the modern electronic sound. So yeah, that's how we like started making music. And then he was like, "Tera dil saaf hai, to kaam karte hain."
Yeah, my memory was that I felt potential also. I felt that he has patience, he understands music, and he has that will and that eagerness to just do everything.
Yeah.
So that was a good part for me when I was feeling a bit low in music. So he was the right person to do a beautiful collaboration.
So something about Tech Panda you guys won't know. He went to music school in Chennai, right?
Yeah, I
And
went
he
to
started-
SA.
He started music for a couple of years and he made like over 100 tracks. That's the time I didn't know him. Like
Oh, wow.
his history is making music like professionally and studying it professionally. I think he also has some roots in the family.
My Nani, she's MA in sitar, so it comes naturally.
The blood.
Yeah. And then I think his hard drive crashed after he made the 100 tracks and all the tracks disappeared.
So I was still doubting myself when I was making music. That was a great point before becoming Tech Panda also, realizing everything, that doubting myself, it was happening in my mind.
And he did tell me that he kind of gave up after the hard drive crash because at that time clouds weren't so popular. This is like 15 years ago, right? Or maybe more than that.
Yeah.
But all the tracks he made, they completely disappeared. So he kind of like lost the whole ambition to make more music.
Yeah, because it takes time.
It takes time to make music, and a lot of time to make music. Sometimes it can take days, sometimes it can take weeks to make one track. Sometimes it happens in 2 hours. You never know how the process happens. It's very creative and challenging because when you're not feeling it, then you're not
Yeah.
feeling it.
Yeah.
And this can last for like months. So that's why you see an artist like has some downtime where he's not making any music. He's completely silent, and you're like, where did the artist go? So that's when the block happens, and you have to get over that block. So that block is what decides the amount of tracks you release versus the amount of tracks you don't release.
And the first of the tracks getting famous.
One good thing is that when I met him, he kind of got that energy back to make music. He was like, this guy's he's got it.
Yeah, it was a fresh start for me. It was a kickstart also. So much knowledge inside. Just wanted to experiment.
And I had no knowledge. So it was like a combination.
But we had everything. Yeah, it was,
I just had the ambition to make it. So I'd go on YouTube and I would just learn how to make music.
Yeah.
And it took me like months, then years. And like after 4 years, I got the hang of it. Just learning by myself on YouTube, like every day one skill and applying it. And then sending him a track, like, how is this track? And he would be like, it's crap. But we were getting somewhere.
Straight up.
We were getting somewhere. No, because he had to be honest. Because he wasn't honest, then we wouldn't get to where we are.
yeah, but we really experimented. What we trying to achieve sound wise was very experimental, was going all out.
Yeah. Initially, when we made music and we sent it to many radio stations and all these music channels, they heard the track and they were like, "We don't understand what you're making. We can't play the sound here." Like, so we were kind of disappointed. A lot of like channels disappointed us, but eventually, I think BBC Asian Network,
Yeah.
one of the tracks we sent them, they were like, "Great track, we're putting it up there," and they played that track for like 16 weeks back to back, and you were like, we have something. Let's keep going, because we were about to give up before that. We were on the brink of giving up music on the whole and just stopping the entire process because we thought that we are just making music that doesn't make sense. You can doubt yourself when things don't go your way,
Yeah.
especially as an artist.
And also when you take a difficult route.
Yeah, it's a very difficult route. Like, but I wouldn't say that don't go for it. Still go for it, because that's what makes it rewarding in the end.
You said something so interesting that until I became tech, and I feel like you're managing these two lives, and you like don't talk about it. Who are you as a person, and how is it different from your stage personality?
Tech Panda.
Yeah.
So I live a parallel life, that's for sure, because I have a 5-year-old, and most of the time when I'm not touring, not going on these gigs, maximum time I want to spend is with my family, do stuff which is absolutely normal, like plan my entire kitchen, make food for everybody, pick up soba from school. So things are happening. I'm cherishing every moment that I'm spending with my wife and my son. It's a beautiful phase.
He's got that skill. Like when you're in the moment, just enjoy that moment. Versus me, I'm just thinking about what to do next. Like my mind's always running.
Racing, yeah.
So yeah, it's racing like always. So, but we balance each other out. Like he's a Sagittarius, I'm a Gemini. So it kind of like
It works for us.
These sun signs.
so Gemini is usually very airy and a high flying attitude.
Yeah.
And kind of laid back at the same time. And a very I know she's a Gemini. They're very funny, intelligent people. They get bored very easily.
Yeah.
But they're also very creative. And and a Sagittarius is very fiery, ambitious, and dedicated. So like it kind of
Balances.
Yeah,
He
but
brings that discipline into your life.
So so when I would say like I want to achieve that in like this much time, then he would like tell me the reality. Like he would show me the reality. Like this is how it's done, not how you're saying it. Yeah, you're living in a dreamland, but I like it. So
yeah, it gives a lot of pressure also when he thinks that big. But it's kind of fun. So you have more tasks to get through in life.
the initial 10 years, we just made music. We never released it. Just the 2-3 tracks. And then eventually, when when COVID hit and lockdown happened, we ended up releasing like 70 tracks.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting home the whole time.
Yeah.
And we were locked in a room, so we would just make music. He would be at his house sending me files, and I would be getting them and like working on them. sharing ideas like with each other, and then whatever made sense to us, you just release it without thinking twice. So that's how it all happened. And then we never knew like the songs just took off, like Koyo took off like that. And Koyo was made by him, like he did the whole structure. And I took him like 3 days to sit in one room and create the whole structure. Then he sent it to me and I was like, this sounds great. Like, let's see what we can do. And then we worked on it further and we made it like a proper final track and we released it. And the next 3 days.
Yeah, response to that, this guy made Doya. He was also sending me tracks back to back. So it was a great moment for us.
Yeah. I think the universe was with us at that time and it kind of happened that way. Like everything was at the right time, like in the right place. So, yeah.
Why Indian folk? What got you guys motivated and, sort of geared into that direction?
We are from India. I think we are more rooted now, and we are basically fusing Indian folk with a lot of electronica sound. So there's jazz involved, there's R&B involved, there's funk involved, there's disco involved. So not restricting genres, but adding something with like doing it properly, doing it very in a subtle way, not exploiting the track, not exploiting the folk vocals, also doing justice to a track, I feel.
So I think folk songs are being lost right now. Last few years they've been lost. They're being recreated, but they're being recreated in the same way again and again. So we want to take it a different route where we can make it in a way that the entire world loves to listen to, like music like that. So I think Doya, Koyo, and all, they were very offbeat. Like there was nothing like this earlier. And the reason we made it is because we could not hear that music. That was the main thing. Like we couldn't hear that kind of music when we went online. Not too much of it. I'm sure there are people that are making it and they're making really good music, but not too much at that time. So we just thought that let's bring it back.
Yeah, there are versions of it, but the real stuff is getting lost. So you need to go and understand, record every area. There's different folk for every area.
Yeah.
Need to record everything, preserve it, save it, and then make reversions out of it, I feel.
Because right now, 20 years later, we might see that folk might get even more lost. Like, so we want to make sure that there's a time that it just stays there and it amplifies to the next. Because the music we're making right now, people 10 years later might want to like hear that even more than they are now. You never know how music trends change and how people love to listen to music. So there are a few examples. Like in today's times, the old songs that you hear are more popular sometimes than the ones we hear today. Just because that time and was different, the recording was different, everything was different. So,
Yeah, it's more polished now.
it's more polished now, more technically polished, but that heart and soul that comes at one point of time or one decade, it changes every 10 years. So I think that happens in music as well, like it transfers to music.
And you said something interesting where you said you were almost going to give up. So why? Why were you just going to give up? You thought that people are not getting it. This is a vibe that no one's like connecting to. And what made you not give up?
We used to come home from our work at like 8 p.m. and meet for making music. And we used to work from 8 to like 4 in the morning and then sleep for 3 hours and go back to work. We did that for like 3 or 4 years. And it was a lot of hard work because nothing was happening. Like we were making music, but there were no results.
You didn't see it going places.
Yeah, we were making people listen to the music and we were like, we asked them like, how's the track? And they were like, I could listen to it like once. So I was like, I need some more work and I don't really understand it. So we kind of got demotivated.
And we were living parallel lives, working with our dad, you were working in a setup, I was working in a setup, working with my wife also. So it was quite, you were working all night with music. This was not thinking that we're going to get some rewards out of it.
So I would start like yawning by 12:30 every time you start sitting down because I love to sleep. Like, that's my thing. Like, so I need good sleep to function the next day, but this was a very hard time for me. 12:30 I would start yawning and he'd be like, why are you yawning? Like, he would start yelling at me like for yawning and he's like, sleep when you achieve something.
You guys did some research, like what's missing in the market, and then just also figuring out what you're good at, and that's what's missing. And I know that we spoke about that you all really like folk music and you want to bring it back. So do you think Instagram as a platform helped you to get engagement? Because I think you all started releasing music a lot in 2020, right?
Yeah, I think Instagram and Facebook played a big role in terms of our music. like 10 years ago, when artists release music, they didn't have all these tools to market themselves and run ads and like, get your music out there without a big label. But today you can see everybody just doing their own thing and pushing music without any limitations or foundations. So I think it's great. Instagram did help a lot. We used to work on art as well. Like we had a team that worked on art for the music, so we could just combine them both, and then like show it off to the audience, and then let's see how the audience takes it. But the ads kind of helped with the Instagram. It was a great platform to just post your music and just push it forward. And the engagement was like, it was great. The engagement was great. I think our music got really famous because of Instagram. People started making reels, and that time reels were not a big thing. I think there was no reels. There was some other thing that was happening at that time. But anyway, this was in 2020. I'm not sure if reels were a big thing, but people started making like videos with our songs, and it helped a lot. Like just to market the videos, because there was nothing like that kind of music going on at that moment. But that genre was completely different. And plus, him and I we were very different people at that time. So that came out in music as well. Like our music was very calm at that time because everybody was just sitting home indoors in a very state of like peace, maybe Zen mode, and just wondering what's going on in the world.
It was a disturbing moment for it.
It was, but I think we tried to find peace. We tried to find peace in music, and it worked.
Wow.
Like for us, like because we kind of vented everything out in the music.
Talking about Zen, so when you switch off from these gigs and production and you come back home, what's that moment of Zen and that peace that you find? What's that sweet
I'll let
spot?
Tech answer the first.
I am far away from being zen or getting into that situation right now.
Yeah.
So when I'm back, I find little time to sit in my home studio. That's the best place I feel can be a zen moment for me. Not sending emails to everybody, not replying to anyone, just
Disconnecting.
disconnecting.
off.
Yeah, that's kind of a zen situation for me. Making music without deadlines, not, you understand, giving
Getting
up-
out of that pressure.
Yeah. For me, it's just I think coming home and listen to music and working out. I love working out, so that's right. I love playing sports. Like I love squash, tennis, love running. So just basically all everything that keeps me healthy and going. Sometimes I cook. That helps a lot. And I write a lot.
Ah, okay.
I write a lot. I write a journal where I write what I've done the day, what I can do better tomorrow. So that keeps me on track. And
Yeah, he was forcing me also to start doing this.
yeah, and
But it's a good practice.
keeps me focused also. Like I know where I'm going and what I have to change tomorrow, because I don't want to just keep running in a place where I don't know where I'm running. So yeah, I've just recently started doing that last 3 or 4 years. So it's helped a lot. Like I recommend this to everybody who wants to change their life. Side note.
So I personally want to know about your life before DJing, before making music.
Okay.
How are you like?
So the initial years, I was working in a business. My dad, I make clothing, like beachwear clothing, and I've been in that since 15 years. And like I've majored in marketing as well. I've studied finance. So before I went to music, I was all about finance, money, like and making money and just how to grow your money and just all that stuff. So I think it was very important because most musicians don't know how to manage their money, and it really helps if you know your finances better. I mean, even he was into some other work before he went to music, so he's very grounded when it comes to managing finance and all. But I think it's a very good skill to have before you want to do anything else you want to do, because to make music and to sustain in music, you've got to have a backing that can keep you afloat, because most musicians, they struggle with paying bills when they're pursuing music.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's like the amount of money that goes into making music is mad. Like for a musician, he can easily give up, saying that let me just give it up and let me do something that makes money so I can pay my bills. And yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that you have to know how to manage your money before you get into making music.
And I guess you just bounce back at your passion.
Yeah,
Eventually, you have to.
Yeah.
Because if it's like such a strong calling, no matter what age, you're
No,
going to
exactly,
bounce back. Yeah. And also, like you said, that making music is expensive. So, for example, if someone's starting out, probably they're playing local gigs, but they want to go big.
Scale up, yeah.
Scale up. What's the process as per you? What should they do?
So for us also, initially when we were making music and no one was recognizing us, we were playing, sometimes we were playing for free. Sometimes we were playing for extremely nominal amounts that were like wouldn't pay for even our costs of getting there.
Yeah.
So I think that just go for like keep playing gigs and like getting your name out there, so that people understand you play good music, and then finally there'll be a time where you get paid to make like to play your gig, and to make music, keep making music and releasing it without the mixing mastering charges that are there, because at least you're getting your music out there, and it's because mixing, mastering, production, polishing, recording, everything costs money. Marketing, it's when you release one song, it's so much of a budget like that you have to just keep collecting for it before you release a song, if you want to do well. If you just want to release a song and like भगवान के हवाले छोड़ दो चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा, so you can release it and then see where it takes you, because this happened to a few artists that make music on the laptop and they just release a track and it became really big. That can happen also. So there, you don't have to go step by step in a certain way. Anything can happen anytime. It's life.
But I think there's a more concrete plan that you start working on an album or something more constructive. Start working on your brand look that we did in the start. Create something first. Then performance also matters. People can see you anywhere. You can jump places. So you need to perform. It's equally
Just
important.
prepare, do a good prep for your shows, no matter what show it is.
In case you're showcasing for 50 people or 500 people, any one could be really important in picking
Doesn't
up.
matter.
And I'm a big believer, like even if you don't get what you want at that certain moment, and if you keep pushing for it and keep praying for it and keep working towards it, then one day you'll find opportunity just comes your way and everything just gets sorted. But you have to sustain like this. It's like when you plant a seed and you give it water every day and it starts growing, and then like you don't see it growing, and then you just abandon it and you just go. But if you keep watering it and someday like you see the roots finally coming out, so it's the same thing with music or any other art that you choose. So I don't think you should give up. If you give up, then you didn't love it that much. So that's my 2 cents.
Talking about gigs, tell us about the craziest story or incident that's happened while you played around India and other places.
We've always been showered with a lot of love from fans, some crazy love all over the place. Fans who waited for hours to just attend the show. And there's been crazy times where there's been like rain showers, thunderstorms, and
Power cuts.
Like I don't know why, but every time we play a good gig, like, and there's like thousands of people, when we come on stage, there's a power cut.
I guess that's like your good luck.
It's like we're used to it now.
It's a part of the process.
It's like, and you just have like these thousands of people just looking at you and staring at the stage where it's just silent. And him and I are just looking at each other like, why does this happen to us every time? Like, but somehow they stand there and they like wait it out. Then we start the set. And because they've experienced that kind of waiting time, then we're like, let's go hard, because right now they waited for us and we can't go slow anymore. Let's give it 100%. So we give it like the best we have. There's been some stories where we are barely able to stand up, but we're still playing a set. You know what? When you get on stage and like, no matter how low you're feeling, when you get on stage and you see people vibing, you get the energy and you like give it back. And everything becomes okay after that. I've noticed that always. When I'm feeling down, when I go to play my set and people are appreciating the music and they're like, yeah, and then like they're singing out the song, I feel so good. Like I just want to play more.
They're waiting to soak your energy.
Even though like 2 days later I'll be dead, but
the moment.
I'll give it my 100% at that time, because that's what they came for and that's what we're there for. So either do something like 100% or don't do anything at all.
True. Yeah. And that's what even she does. This is like mad Gemini.
Well, I don't think it's a Gemini thing, but yeah, I mean, it's something that you should live by when you're pursuing something that you love.
Yeah. Tell us about your international gigs. I want to know the international collaborations that you've been doing.
I think this year we're planning to make music that kind of gets big internationally as well. We're making more sounds that appeal to that
larger audience.
Yeah, more dance centric, and that's what's happening this year. So hopefully by the end of this year or next year, we're gonna do like a tour, international tour.
Wow.
So these days, very easy to do a collaboration internationally. Also, media is helping it.
But
So all the platforms.
one big
So your Spider-Man collaboration was a
so
beautiful collaboration.
yeah, that was a great. So Spider-Man, the movie, what was it called? Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So that we made a song for that. It was a recreation of Sunflower.
Post Malone. Yeah.
Post Malone Sunflower, but in a very Indian way, like for the Indian audiences, for the Indian version of the film. So that was a good collaboration for us with Marvel. It was like a big thing.
Yeah.
Dilbar was really good because Dilbar charted in like 40 countries.
Yeah.
And in some places it hit like even the top 10. So we were like, wow, like this is a way to get into different markets. So yeah, I mean it happens organically. You don't have to push it. Just keep making good music and something will hit. Because right now what's happening is that people are making music just to get in that trending zone or like a top 10. But you gotta get swayed by the trend and it never works out because you don't have your heart inside.
Yeah, you need to find your own sound.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you were to describe Kenzani in 3 words, what would they be?
Gemini?
That's not a description.
Mm,
Think about it for a minute and just remember everything that I do.
yeah, he's courteous. And he's dedicated.
You gotta say ratchet shit also. Not
Yeah.
that good stuff.
But he's a serious person these days.
I'm not a serious person.
These days.
Serious in my work, yeah. I'm very dedicated to my work right now. I'm very ambitious, but you didn't complete the third. What's the third word?
I said courteous.
Courteous, come on, man. What am I?
Gemini, dedicated,
Am I in the
and
hospitality
courteous.
industry?
This was the saucy question where you all give us controversial answers. This is the
Okay,
teaser.
unpredictable is one. He knows that.
Yeah.
Because he can never predict what I'm doing, and neither can my team. They're also like, in the morning I'd write a message, I'm releasing this song after 2 days, and they're like, what? So like I keep shocking everybody around me, and they have no idea what's going on, and they're ready for it now. And the second one would be ambitious. I'm very ambitious when it comes to work. No matter what happens, whether I'm feeling down, low, like I'll still work. Because I know that tomorrow when I wake up, I'll be feeling different, but my work will be done. Like it'll be a great feeling. And the third will be, I mean, there's so many words, but I'm still waiting for your word.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Which one? I'm sorry. A saucy word for it.
Not saucy, yeah, any word. Any,
Something
could be,
controversial,
any,
man.
like, could be a positive word for me.
he's like
He's really
feeding it.
Okay.
He's a people pleaser.
People pleaser. Okay. I'm a diplomatic guy most of the times.
Yeah.
Until someone gets on my nerves, then I'm not diplomatic.
Okay, tell about him.
3
Rupi?
words
Yeah.
about it.
He's disciplined. He's very tough when it comes to work. He's very tough.
On
He
himself?
can, no, not in himself.
Yeah.
He can withstand like storms. Like this guy can, like no matter what's happening, he'll still do his work and he'll still play his set. And like I've seen him in tough situations where he's handled it better than I could ever handle it. I was glad to have him at that time. Like, and he's shown me how to become tough also in that process.
I think it's all experience. The more time you spend in the industry.
Yeah, like
You
I
know.
would panic in sometimes, like like the first power cut that we experienced out of the 100,000. I was panicking. I was like, shit. Like I'm on stage and like there's 1,000 people and like there's no power. What do I do? Like, how do I look at them or do I? He's like, man, just chill. Like, man, just chill. Like, just laugh, have a good time. I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. And then like after 10 minutes, the lights came back on and like we got back. And anyway, and the third for him would be he's like a daddy personality. Like he's like a daddy. Like he's the guy that takes care of everybody. Like he's the guy that takes care of everyone around.
Yeah,
Like he would be like taking care and be responsible no matter what happens. Very responsible guy.
But I'm not happy with that quality, being daddy now. So it's like daddy other ways. Being
Yeah.
daddy for people is when I take a back
It's
seat.
too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because he's a dad, so he knows how to take care of people that need to be taken care of.
Yes, that instinct.
And he treats everybody like a kid. Like yeah.
What's next? What's coming up next in like the things that you're doing?
And musically, like
Yeah.
we finally got to take a break since the last 2 months.
Yeah, it's
So I
plan was to go for 3 months,
yeah,
a 3-month break,
3-month break.
and get ready for the season. I feel and missing a lot of work in the studio because of gigs.
It's been 3 years we haven't properly worked on music. Like sat down every day, open the laptop, open the computer, studio, and just work. It's been like coming to the studio and doing social media and doing shoots and doing like collabs and doing like stuff that has nothing to do with music. We're working like we're finishing tracks from 4 years ago, opening up old files, and
Wow.
So he's coming up with a project now. What's
it's called Tijori. All the tracks that were never released that were Panda Kenzani OG style
Coming out of the
coming
studio
out.
right now.
we used to call it the vault.
Yeah. So he said that kal pata nahi kya hoga. So release
Why
kar le.
should that
Gaane
music be
release
in
kar
the
le.
computer or in the hard disk?
You can't predict life. Like I want to get the tracks out of the hard drive, and we're like, okay, fine, let's do it. So we made a plan that every day we'll finish like a track, before we go to bed. It's like riding like a bicycle again. Like when you start riding it, you get used to the whole process. We forgot about it, but now we're back on it, and that's the best thing. Creating music is the best thing. Everything else, I think, is bull. Like this is bull. Like I don't think, for a musician, it's so difficult now. You make music, you have to keep marketing,
and you get lost.
making content. It's so annoying. Like you have to do it. I mean, you have to do it as a musician, but it kills the musician inside you. The time you want to spend making music and like get it out. That's when music comes out. Is the time that you'll be told make a teaser on the song, make something on the song, get the artwork going, get the marketing going, get this going. I just feels like I'm doing business. Like I don't feel like a musician. So right now we put a full stop to that. We remembered who we are. It's very important for musicians to do that. Side
To
note.
step out of the circle and see what's happening.
Stop running.
Do not get stuck in the rat race.
Otherwise, the rat race. Social media is a big part of rat race. If you go on it and you just keep checking who's doing what, oh shit, I'm not doing anything. Is it okay to say shit as I just said shit? Anyway.
That comparison
So,
game.
It's like a feeling of insecurity.
Mm.
Sometimes. Do you feel that?
You get distracted because you're making music and then you go on social media and you're like, oh, great track. People are doing great things. I'm not doing anything right now. Let me just go to bed depressed.
Takes you away from that.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to stop doing that and just turn it off for a bit. Be like, I'll come back 7 days later. I'll see what's going on. I'm not missing out on anything. You have to do that, and then you have to finish your music, and then go back to social media when you want to give it, put it out there for the world to see. Use it for the right things. Don't just waste your time and get carried away by the rat race. Very important. Mentally, you have to be there to do anything else. I think that's the biggest game. If you lose yourself mentally, you've lost everything.
Right. As this power duo of musicians, what's the ultimate dream for you guys? Is it making music, playing music for a certain person, or making music with a dream of yours?
What's your ultimate dream?
Mine is that my tracks are going everywhere, like airports, situations, exhibitions, and yours is quite
So
different.
that's already happening. When we go to like some restaurants and some good ones everywhere, we see our songs playing, or people send us videos like, hey, we went to this restaurant, your song is playing. Feels good. Feels good. Like we got somewhere, people are playing the tracks and motivates us to do more.
But his vision is quite different. He wants the track to travel to festivals.
Well, that was the plan initially, and it still is the plan. And I think this year I'm trying to like really make, by August, I want to make about 60 tracks. 60, I'm saying, is a lower end. So that I can just keep pushing the tracks out. And our dream is to play the biggest festivals of the world, like
Also
one by one.
to make famous in India.
Yeah, one by-
famous
yeah, exactly.
Everywhere possible.
We wanted to make India, like push India in terms of electronic music. That's one place where it still needs that push. And right now, a lot of artists in India are progressing in that direction, and they're playing internationally everywhere. Like it's a good time, like for the industry, because everyone's progressing, and it's great for India. And when we made music initially in 2020 became big, there was at least like 15, 20 artists I know that picked up on that sound and started making that sound. So it was a big achievement for us personally. Like we don't talk about it, but we felt good. Like we've made a sound that people relate to, and they think it can work because it worked for us. So the people think it can work everywhere.
So it hits every audience. It hits like a 70-year-old uncle also would love to jam on the track.
All the age ranges. But I'd also like to add that 10 years, 20 years ago, the same kind of music was big, and it was made by the pioneers, like Karsh Kale, Nitin Sawhney. These guys were pioneers, and they made that music very popular. And then the whole circle came back 10 years later with people like us. I'm saying there's a lot of artists who are brilliant. We're just a small part of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, yeah.
We're just a small drop in the samundar, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is artist.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there like something specifically you want to modify or change about the current music circuit, or something that really took you by surprise or shocked you?
I feel people are more competitive these days when it comes to music. In India, I feel it's a big space. Music has space for indie music, folk music, electronic music. It has space to fit in everybody possible in the industry right now. So I feel be more involved towards giving credits or pushing people who needs to be out there, and not think that he'll get famous and he'll take my audience. I feel you need to be.
That does happen in every industry. People just Sometimes they compete.
So this is not industry. I feel this is a community, and you are working towards it. It has space for everybody to fit in. I feel.
How do you self-evaluate yourself as a musician? Like, is there like some kind of a self-talk, or like what? How do you know that you're on the right track and you're making good music? Or how does that? What's the starting process?
Okay, for me, I was lucky to have a partner who used to tokify me. He used to just correct me at every mistake. He used to be like, no, sounding off, sounding great. So he has a classical ears because he's been trained classically. But for somebody who doesn't have any access to all that, who's making music by himself, so many doubts. Like, am I making the right thing? Is this gonna work? Just keep making music and putting it out there. You might get comments, they might be negative, but if every track you make, you get better. That's the rule, no matter how bad you are in making music. I don't think it's right to keep like evaluating yourself too much. Go for it and just release it. Like, don't wait for too long. If one doesn't work, the second will work. If the second doesn't work, the fifth might work, 10th might work. It's always good to make your friends hear it and your family hear your music, but it can be the most demotivating things if your friends say that, oh, it's a great track, but I'll hear it later, or I'll finish it later.
Yeah.
And that's happened to us also. But that's why I'm saying that don't depend on your friends. Make your music, release it, let the artist decide. And if they decide that it's a wrong track, it's not a right track, and it's complete, like, then you just wait and you make another track. You don't get disappointed. You just get more motivated. That's my 2 cents to it. Like, and I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just keep training and keep practicing. With any skill, you can just get better, right, Tech?
Yeah, I think for DJs to start is don't consider that he is a DJ and it's a very fancy job. You want to be a DJ. It doesn't work like that. It has to be from inside. It has to be your calling to understand music or to go towards it. I feel, and finding the right space is like be focused. When you start, there are a lot of YouTube tutorials, as you said.
Yeah, that's how I learned it. And that's what happened. Like, people who used to be like, I don't like your sound, I don't like your music, or now like, hey, can you send us tickets to your our event, or like, can you get a picture with us, or like, can you do this for us? So like, it's everything changes when you become something. So
Yeah, but what matters is be true to your art.
yeah, exactly, and be consistent.
What's been the most motivating point in your journey together where you felt like now there's no looking back, like we're only going forward and we're going to take this?
I feel there are few milestones.
Yeah.
One was BBC Radio, as you discussed. The second one was collaborations with this Marvel movie.
That was initially it was our tracks taking off, and people were like going crazy over our tracks.
Silver was a milestone.
Before that, Koyo was a milestone.
True.
And Koyo was such a track that people were in that space where they were lost, and so were we. So it kind of like connected in a way so deep that we can't explain it. Like, right?
Yeah.
What else was there? I think Poetic Love is another track.
Yeah, but God's been kind.
Yeah, God's been kind. We believe in the universe, God helping you out if you just give it your 100%. Like, what do you say? Karam karo?
Don't wait for the fruits.
Nahi, say it in Hindi. So like, yeah, he keeps saying that, and like, yeah, just keep working and don't expect things to just come out. And that's how we did it at the beginning, and that's how we're doing it now. Everything happens for a reason. All the tracks that come out for a reason. So like, I don't think it's anything goes to a waste. Jada serious ho gaya.
But that was so cool, man. I had so much fun doing this. I guess thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Awesome.
Thanks for hosting us, guys.
Yes.
Thank you guys for everybody
Any
watching.
final thoughts that
And
you want to say?
So like, share, and subscribe, guys.
Follow for more.
guys,